Hi, this is Jerry. I've got a question for you. Have you ever noticed that the difference between a wise person and a foolish person isn't how many mistakes they make, but how they respond when someone corrects them? Welcome to Proverbs 13:1. That is exactly what King Solomon wanted us to think about today, here in Proverbs 13:1. Every one of us has had someone try to teach us, whether it be a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, a coach, even a pastor, or even a close friend. The question isn't whether we'll receive instructions. The question is, how will we respond when it comes? Here's the lesson. King Solomon begins by saying, "A wise son hears his father's instruction." The Hebrew word here for hears means far more than simply listening with your ears. It means to listen with the intention of obeying. Wisdom isn't measured by how much we know. It's measured by how willing we are to learn. A wise child welcomes correction because he understands or she understands something important is coming along. Correction today prevents heartaches tomorrow. Then King Solomon, who, by the way, was the smartest man who ever lived, the wisest man who ever lived, gives us the opposite picture, where he says, "A mocker does not respond to rebuke." Now, a mocker doesn't simply reject advice, he laughs at it. He refuses to be corrected. His pride convinces him that everyone else is wrong where he's right. Sadly, pride closes the very door through which wisdom enters. In ancient times, the Jewish teachers would often say, "The ear is the doorway to wisdom, but pride bars the entrance." Now, the rabbis believed that a teachable spirit was one of God's greatest gift. If a person could still receive correction, there was always hope for him. Once correction was rejected, all growth is stopped. This proverb isn't just about children obeying their parents. It's about every one of us. So ask yourself this: how do I react when my spouse corrects me, or when my pastor teaches something different or difficult that I'm familiar with, when a friend points out one of your weaknesses, or when God convicts your heart through Scripture that you've never seen before? Do you become defensive, or do you become teachable? The older we become, the easier it is to think we've already learned enough. But let me tell you this: wisdom never graduates. Now, I'm almost 85 years old, and I'm still learning. A foolish 25-year-old thinks he already knows everything. God can teach anyone whose heart remains open. Here's one thing for you to remember. The greatest evidence of wisdom is not knowing everything. It is remaining teachable. Someone once said, "Experience is a wonderful teacher, but she sends the test before the lesson." A wise person learns from correction. A fool insists on taking the test over and over and sometimes over again. Here's a challenge for you. If someone offers you loving correction, don't become offended. Pause. Listen. Pray about it. Think about it. Because God often speaks through people who care enough to tell us the truth. Remember this: wise people aren't always right, but they are always willing to learn. Now, I think this verse makes a wonderful introduction to Proverbs 13 because it sets the tone for the entire chapter. The blessing King Solomon describes throughout the chapter begins with one simple quality: do you have a teachable heart? Now, this verse will be on the screen. Read it out loud if you can. Have a great day.